From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. It's almost Thanksgiving. I know a lot of you folks are really excited about getting your grub on and everything like that tomorrow and all that good stuff. So, let's go ahead and see what we can get you right with tonight. Tomorrow, I'll be doing a special Talkin Tickets on IG, my yearly holiday hello, you know what I mean? I like to go ahead and do that on the holidays. I get a lot of traffic on that day, so yeah, want to make sure everybody's situated before I get them to that big game tomorrow in Detroit, because we starting early tomorrow, boy. We starting very early tomorrow, so it is what it is at the end of the day. So let's pretty much jump into our first topic in hand, and that's going to be the CFP Playoff Picture. Is looking mighty good right now, because we have ourselves a very good group. We have a Big 12 team, a Big 10, two Big 10 teams for the time being, and then we have ourselves an SEC team. Now, the way it's looking, we could possibly sneak in a Pac-12 team once we go ahead and sort out this Big 10 situation, because you do have Ohio State playing against Michigan this week. I'll be talking about that game on Friday. I was thinking about talking about it today, but I said no. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about it Friday. And it's crazy because Friday is Thanksgiving. Is the day after Thanksgiving. Is Black Friday, so that might be one of the best days in college football to get yourself an upset as well too. So people have to be on the lookout for that. I think I will have everybody situated the way that they need to be situated Friday as well. But let's go ahead and talk about the number one team. Georgia is literally running away with this thing. Georgia's getting a lot of love, a lot of props, even though they won 16-6 against a team that they were supposed to beat. You know what I mean? It was a good game, and they wound up playing really good football. But at the end of the day, Georgia is so boring. You know what I mean? College football is all about offense, and they literally are not scoring any points, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So, they got a good enough defense to the point to where it doesn't matter. They can put up 14 points and they'll be fine. But we all know, though, once their offense starts getting turnovers themselves, it's going to put the defense in a bad position. And everybody should know this as well, too. You know what I mean? So that's all good and well what's going on right now. But this team, to me, is an upset victim possibly in their championship game. But they're pretty much saying right now is it does not matter what happens to Georgia. They're going to be in the play. They're going to be in the playoff. They pretty much sealed the deal being in the playoff last week. And this week, they got an easy game against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is a team that you really look at and you say to yourself, hey, y'all not going to do much, but they just got a big win over number 13, North Carolina. So they're not just going to lay down to Georgia. And the way Georgia's playing offense right now, damn, you could give anybody a shot, because really it doesn't matter how great your defense is. If you wind up being in a bad position in the game, you can lose, okay? It's that simple. You know what I mean? And sometimes I get a little deterred about these phenomenal defenses, because when they let you down big. You know what I mean? But usually somebody was hurt, something of that nature, blase. Then you have Ohio State going against Michigan. This is pretty much the play-in game for who's going to be the other official team, because believe it or not, the the Big Ten championship is going to be played Saturday in Columbus, not in Indianapolis. You know, they can bear they don't even know who wants to win the West right now. And that could be proved tricky, a little dangerous, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to stop of Ohio State. It could stop Michigan, but it's not going to stop Ohio State. And then you have, you know, Purdue in place to win the division, win their division. But you still have others on the outside looking in, like Iowa, who owns the tiebreaker and all that good stuff. And Iowa's already played Ohio State, and they did give Ohio State a bit of a tough time for a half. But then Ohio State turned it on and literally turned it on and turned it on some more and dropped 54 points on the at that time, who was the best defense, yardage and points wise in the nation. So, you know, you had yourself an Ohio State team that's just as fearless as Georgia. And then you got the redheaded stepchild, TCU, because Michigan, you already know Michigan and Ohio State, literally the same team. Who wins Saturday? That's who the champion is going to be. Michigan won by the skin of their teeth against Illinois. That would have been huge going into this weekend, because then we would have had some of this sorted out. But TCU needs more respect. This school, I know they didn't play anybody in non-conference, but they played against 4 straight ranked teams. You won, and they win the games. It don't matter if they blow them out; they just win the game. And TCU, to me, might be one of the best stories in the nation right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if they make the Final Four and not win, but really impress upon us that they belong in that group. Because I'm going to tell you like this will be the first year where we'll have 2 competitive CFP games. I'm calling my shot now. We're going to have 2 CFP games that should be really good, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes. But all in all, I think that TCU is the odd man looking odd man in, but they'll be automatically out if they lose. So they do have a big conference title game coming up, but they still got to win this week. So, you know, TCU is in a good position to get to where they want to be, but they probably have the toughest sled of them all, because they got Iowa State this week. And then the championship game will be a game that's going to they're going to be tested. So let's hope for the best, because it seems like every Big 12 team, not named Oklahoma or Texas, slips up at this moment. So I can see a big amount of bets going on Iowa State, and I can definitely see that happening. So pretty much that's the CFP playoff picture. We'll know more after this weekend. There will be the point in time where we do have another CFP committee group. We'll break it down for you Tuesday night, blase. And then, you know, we'll do this again next weekend with the conference championship game. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. CFP playoff picture looking pretty solid right now, but we know things are going to change after this weekend. So let's move forward to our next topic in hand, and that topic is going to be the Maui Invitational. We got Creighton, and Arizona going at it today in the championship game, which is going to be tipping off in the next 30 minutes to 45 minutes or so in Hawaii. So we have, not Jimmy G, but we got the Maui Invitational. We got number 14 going against number 10. I saw Creighton play yesterday. They were on the money yesterday. They are a big threat to win the Big East Conference title in the regular season and the postseason. Even though they've been having their issues the last few years in the postseason, I feel like this might be the best coached team McDermott has had, period, point blank. Even in the days when they were a superpower in the Missouri Valley Conference. And, you know, they came on over to the Big East, and they were kind of like a deer in their headlights the first 4 or 5 years. Now they've gotten everything together, and everybody knows when you go to Nebraska, that's a tough game. That is a tough game. Every Big East team fears going to Creighton to play them, because they play huge at home. So they're in Hawaii. They're doing big things right now. They're playing very good basketball, to be exact. I don't think that game's going to tip off right at 2 o'clock like they're showing. It will be more of a 2:15, 2:20 tip. So you do still have time to bet it up and everything like that. But both these teams come into the game undefeated. Arizona should be the favorite. It's a 3.5 point favorite and growing because Arizona does have a really good team, even though they're not ranked, even though they're 14th, and you have Creighton who's 10th. It doesn't really matter. You got an Arizona team that is just lights out good. You know what I mean? And they got a lot of really good players on this team. And they got the best player on the court in Tubelis, who's averaging 20.8 a game. Now, he's playing pretty good. He's played every single game as well, too. And he's coming into his own. This is his junior year, and this is the year where he's supposed to step it up and be huge. The Lithuanian, 6'11" kid. Then you got Ramey, who's doing pretty good. He's played in 2 games this year and has been lights out. Played an excellent game last night against San Diego State, dropping 21 points on San Diego State and dropped 17 the night before against Cincinnati. Now, this is his 5th year, so, he's been around for a while. So pretty much this should be a big year for him because, he's coming from Texas and everything like that, and he is a redshirt senior, so he does bring some leadership to him. But this is in the first 2, but they've only had him for 2 games, so we'll see how much more. And then we got Krissa here, Kirk Krissa, who's another foreigner from Estonia, and he's doing pretty good. He scored 21 last night against San Diego State as well, too. They dropped 100 on him, so that's why they had some big-time scores last night. Also did pretty good against Utah Tech as well, too, scoring 24 in that game. So, they have the scorers here, but the thing is with Creighton, they have the shooters. And the shooters, man, I'm telling you, these guys can really, really shoot. And last night was a very, very good barometer of that. I liked what I saw out of Ryan Nembhard, who had 25 points last night, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. So that's who they're going to have to check here because he's absolutely going crazy in this tournament right now. He's averaging 20 and a half a game here since the tournament started. He got 16. He's getting career highs here since he got to Maui. So it's looking good for the kid. You know what I mean? He played really well the first 2 years, but now he's here. He's in his own world, and I think Nembhard has a good shot to be something really special this season for Creighton. So we'll see how this one shapes up, and it's just going to be a good game regardless. I can't wait to watch what is in store for us today in Maui, and the game is coming on very early. I wish they know this game should be coming on at 7:30 tonight, but they're playing the championship game fairly early. And you know what it is? It's ratings. That's what it is. Because Creighton playing against Arizona. Arizona is always a big draw, but Creighton isn't. So it's understandable. It's very understandable because when you get to the night game, it's San Diego State versus Arkansas. Of course, that's going to get a lot of eyes on the game. So, we got that down. So pretty much with that, I like Creighton tonight in this game because they're the dog. And I just think that Creighton is so much tougher than Arizona. Let's be honest, because they're built to be tough in the Big East. So I'm going to go with the tougher team here, even though this is a golden spot. And one of these teams is going to enter the top 10 next week as well, too. And I'm not talking about top 10. I'm talking about top 5 possibly as well, too. Because if Creighton wins, Creighton's a top 5 team because they beat 2 top 25 teams here, and they were very good top 25 teams as well, too. So with that, let's go ahead and move forward to our next topic in hand, and that's going to be about Jimmy G and the 49ers. I just wanted to go ahead and let you guys know that you weren't very smart about all the criticism that you had for Jimmy G, San Francisco 49er fans. Literally, when you guys traded for him, you guys said that this franchise is going to change today, and we got the guy who's better that made Brady, that scared Brady a little bit. It took him 1 year to get you guys to where you needed to get to, and that was to the Super Bowl. Not the first round, not the divisional, not a conference championship, to the Super Bowl. The love and affection that they had for Jimmy G going into that Super Bowl quite easily disappeared by the fourth quarter. San Francisco could have won the game, but they really put a lot on Jimmy G, even though the defense was the one that gave up the points. You know what I mean? So I truly do feel like that was like they tried to make that the end of Jimmy G. Like they really truly did. And what happens the next season? Jimmy G gets hurt and they don't play well. It's they just didn't play well. Jimmy G comes back. They get a couple things going. They all right, but they still miss the playoffs. They come back the next season and draft a quarterback third. They gave up real estate to get Trey Lance, a guy who sat out a whole year of college football because he didn't want to get hurt, because he wanted to be ready for the draft, right? They still made him sit a year because he wasn't ready. Jimmy G is always ready. And Jimmy G winds up getting this team to the conference championship and a few plays away from going back to the Super Bowl. It was unfortunate that they had to play in Los Angeles against the Rams. Nobody was going to beat the Rams that day, even if it was the 1972 Dolphins with Marino and Duper and Creighton and all these guys on 99 overall. It just was not in the cards. It seemed like they just were not going to let the Rams embarrass themselves in Los Angeles for the conference championship game and the Super Bowl. And I don't even like to talk like this, like things are rigged or anything of that nature. But I just felt like in that situation, the NFL was trying to win some, was really paid for at that moment in time, because San Francisco was the better team all night long. It's just that the Rams were fortunate that Shanahan lost his mind, literally. He started calling plays that was just like, what are you thinking about, bro? So at the end of the day, Jimmy G is casted off. As soon as they lose the game, go get Trey. Go get Trey. All right, they went and got Trey. Trey Lance lasted 2 games. And yeah, he was balling, but come on, they lost to the Bears opening day. The Bears don't even have a good defense. They only have they only have a below average defense. Their defense is atrocious for Chicago Bears standards. And the guy got 10 points. But I know it was raining that day. The weather wasn't good. Yeah, the weather wasn't good. Okay, yeah. But still, at the end of the day, the guy didn't look that great in preseason either. You know what I mean? So now you have it to where Jimmy G has been called upon again. And you got 49er fans slapping their forehead. Oh, man, why him? Why him? Well, now you're 6-4, top of the division, had a very dominant win against Arizona, and now everybody wants to go ahead and make a parade for him. See, you better be very grateful that you're not in charge and you got John Lynch in charge of this team, because even Shanahan wanted to move on from him. But John Lynch was very adamant on keeping Jimmy G because he did not trust the situation. They can say whatever they want, but he did not trust the situation. He was letting Shanahan pick a quarterback. And I don't think that he trusted that decision at the end of the day, because you needed more linemen. You didn't need another quarterback. You needed a great offensive lineman, and that's exactly where the 49ers messed up at, in my opinion. They could have got another great offensive lineman and enhanced the run game a little bit more this year. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Jimmy G is the starting quarterback now, and I don't think that they should even think about pulling him out of being a starting quarterback. They got enough real estate, enough stock with Trey Lance to go ahead and get some picks back, get some assets back. You know what I mean? Because they got it made with you. And Jimmy G even went ahead and took a pay cut to stick around with them. And he didn't have to do that. He could have just said, cut me. And there's 4 teams in the NFL right now that would love to have Jimmy G and be in the same position as San Francisco. So we'll see how it goes. But I know a lot of people like, man, you might a little bit too heavy on Jimmy G. I'm a little bit heavy on telling y'all that you didn't know what you was talking about. That's just simple and plain. You just don't throw away quarterbacks that take you to the Super Bowl, and you hadn't won anywhere in 5 years. So, pretty much, you guys were still lingering over Kaepernick. So now you have yourself a quarterback, and now you guys can go ahead and move forward and possibly be able to get yourself a ring this year. But we will see. It's still a long season, even though we only got about 5-6 weeks left. But all in all, we are going to take our first break, and when we get back, we'll be talking some NBA, State of the Lakers, and NBA Wednesday night. We got a full 12 games, but we only going to talk about 5 of them. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Kappa, and I'll be right back at you.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Kappa, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we are back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. So let's go ahead and jump into our next topic in hand, and that's going to be the Lakers. And the Lakers lose last night. Lakers lost. Man, Lakers lose again to the Suns. They lost by 10 this time. Suns have beat the Lakers 8 times in a row. That's nuts. But it ain't the first time that they've been dominant against the Lakers. The Lakers spent like 5 years just killing the Suns, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? I think the Lakers possibly won like 20 in a row against the Suns. Like the Suns used to be literally like Lakers, like the Suns that before 2020 were absolutely they were not even a threat at all to the Lakers. You know what I mean? Just like the Clippers weren't a threat until Chris Paul got there. So, at the end of the day, these fans can have their little moment and everything like that, but we all know the real. We all know the really real. And you just say scoreboard when you look at it. But Laker fans can't keep going to that angle as well either. That's starting to get a little stupid and a little petty as well too. But let's talk about AD last night. AD had a huge night in a loss. They lose 115-105, as I said previously. But AD had 37 points, 21 rebounds, and 5 blocks last night. He was absolutely incredible last night. And Lonnie Walker stepped in with 24 himself, and then you got 21 from Westbrook. But then after that, you didn't get much from anybody else. You had Austin Reeves, who played probably a career high in minutes, 35 minutes last night. He scored 11, and then you had 8 coming from Tommy Bryant off the bench, and Kendrick Nunn had 4. But then you had Schroeder with a donut in 20 minutes, and then Gabriel didn't do anything as well too. And pretty much, you had other guys out, coach's decision, all that stuff. The Lakers went pretty much 10 deep last night, but majority of the minutes that were played were with the starters. And, it's funny because Westbrook is still playing starter minutes, but they still feel Pat Beverly is the call at point guard. Pat Beverly literally should not even be on the roster. Once again, 29 minutes, 0 points. 0 points. Minus 15. Okay, yeah, 10 rebounds. All right. That's nice. But at the end of the day, who cares? That's not better than what THT's doing. And to top it off, he gets a stupid technical right when the Lakers are making a big run. Right when the Lakers are about to start chipping into the game, he has the dumbest foul possibly that you could get so he could show off a bravado moment with DeAndre Ayton. You know what I mean? Because he didn't like the way he was standing over Austin Reeves. Well, I think that it was kind of a mistake, and wasn't looked at the right way. But once again, Pat Bev just wanted some attention. And I just think that you got to stop letting players dictate how you run your team. You know what I mean? Like Rob Pelinka has been awful as a general manager. Let's just keep it real. That's why Magic left, because it was like, bro, you're not listening. You just over here, just whatever they tell you to do, you're going to go do. You know what I mean? And then, you give away the kids. That just doesn't sit with me right, period, point blank. So, I just think that the Lakers at the end of the day know that they really aren't doing much, but I'm optimistic. I feel like the Lakers are getting better. I hate to say it, but they've won their life. They had won 3 in a row going into this game. Last night, they had 45 rebounds. They got out rebounded by 4, but they were able to keep up. You know what I mean? That's what made the game special enough for me, was that they keep up. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because the Lakers got 35 free throws last night compared to the 5 that the Suns got. So that means the Lakers playing some good defense as well too. It's just that they just could not finish. That's the whole thing. So I truly do feel like the Lakers are in a position now to where they can be whatever they want to be, but you got to stop judging everything on what's happening in October and November. If you still see these same results come December, January, it's understandable. But the season's still long, and the Lakers have found a groove somewhat. And I think that they finished the month pretty strong. You got LeBron coming back Friday. They got a Friday, Saturday situation going on with the in San Antonio. Then they come back home, got to play against Indiana and Blazers, who possibly will still have Lillard out. And if the Blazers have Lillard out, they're going to get cooked by the Lakers by 20. Let's just keep it real. Lillard plays with a big ass chip on his shoulder every time he steps up against the Lakers. So that's something that you do have to look at. But all in all, Lake Show should be fine. I'm just hysterical. But always franchise first. I could care less about, what player and what player is doing this and that. Players need to show up and win. That's what they simply need to do. You know what I mean? And I think that's where there's a big problem at, because y'all keep putting pressure on 3 guys. You need to put pressure on all 12. Okay. And that's the way that the Lakers will be able to operate as a functional franchise again. As long as they start having people step up their game and not worry about what the superstars are going to do, because the superstars are going to superstar. You need role players to play their role. And they definitely need that, and they need that quickly. So we'll see how it goes. Just have some patience, though. The Lakers should be a better team come December. That's all I can say. All right, so let's move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into NBA Wednesday night. And NBA Wednesday night, we do have ourselves up first, the Blazers at the Cavs. No Lillard tonight from what I'm seeing, but, they keep guys keep popping up on me. Like, I thought Ja Morant wasn't playing last night. He popped up. He played. I said they said he was going to be out indefinitely with the ankle. You know what I mean? Like, he was carted off the court. Oh, man, I swear, you guys, you misinformation is killing this country right now. That's all I can say. So, you got Cavs Blazers, and yeah, I don't know. I ain't got the best graphic for this, but Cavs Blazers should be pretty good tonight. You have a Cavs team coming in here. They kind of got cooled off a little bit after having such a great start to the season, because they did start the season 5-1. But this month, they lost 5 in a row. And they're 6-5 overall for the month. And they're all really close games as well, too, except for the Milwaukee game. So, you can't hold that against them. But they've bounced back pretty big. Their last 3 wins were all by double digits, 10, 25, and 10, 26, actually, and 12. So they bounced back, and it was good wins. They beat a pretty good Miami team. They also beat a pretty good Atlanta team. And then, you know what? Charlotte's whatever this year. But all their wins were pretty good this month. But their losses were just like, wow. Even though, half of those losses were at the end of their West Coast road trip as well, too, because they beat the Lakers. Then they wound up losing 3 in a row, Clippers, Sac, and Golden State. And we all have to understand Sacramento is one of the hotter teams in the league. The Clippers had made a nice little comeback, and Golden State just was Golden State. You know what I mean? So it happens. And then, they come back home. They lost a close one to Milwaukee, even though they came Minnesota, even though they came all the way back. So they have a good month set up for themselves. They got Portland, Milwaukee, Detroit, Toronto, and Philadelphia. So they should finish decent. But Cleveland's showing us that they might not be able to be that trusted in a spot like this either, though. So, we'll just have to see how it goes, see how it plays out. But Blazers tonight, without Lillard, I don't really like them in this spot. They've lost 3 in a row, even though the games have been really close. And so the 7-point spread kind of asks for you to take the Blazers tonight, because the Blazers lost by 2, 5, and 8. But it seems like the number is climbing as we go along. And these were also 2 out of 3 2 of the games were at home as well, too. So it looks like they're having their issues on the road a little bit, even though they did have a 6-game road trip earlier this month where they finished 4-2. So you got a team but they dropped their last 2 road games. So that's something to look at tonight. And I think that Cleveland wants to go ahead and end the week right. I mean, or have a good night before they go to enjoying all that good Cleveland food the next day. You know what I mean? I don't know what they're doing, but I know that somebody's going to probably somebody's going to gain some pounds though on that team. So, they want to go ahead and get themselves a hearty win tonight, in a sense. You know what I mean? So pretty much let's go ahead and move on to our next game, which is going to be a fun one that I see on the schedule with a team that's playing far better basketball right now. That's the Pacers, and the Wolves seem like they're getting together. You got the Pacers at 10-6 right now. You got the Wolves at 9-8. You got the Wolves coming into this game winners of their 4 in a row after losing their first 5 out of 6 games this month. They've turned it on after a big win over the Cavs. Also, nice win over Orlando on the road. Then got a good win over Philly on Saturday with a nice 3-point win over them. And then they came back around and got a good win over Miami at home. Now they're back on the road again for a 2-game stretch before they go back on the road. Before they go back home to play the Warriors. But they got an Indiana team coming in here tonight. Indiana started off terrible to start the season. They've lost 1 game in the month of November. They're actually right now 7-1, and they've won their last 5 games in a row. But they lucked up and had Orlando twice at home. So, and they beat Charlotte and Houston as well too. So, but they're beating the teams that they're supposed to beat. Now, they got off to kind of a horrendous start to start the year because they were giving up a lot of points. So they wound up going 3-5 to start the year off. Since then, though, they're 7-1. Okay, so that explains why they're 10-6 right now. So they're playing really good basketball. They didn't expect much from Indiana this year, and Indiana doesn't care because, they're not going to allow the Pacers to be that bad in the state of Indiana. Like, they just not going to let that happen. But when I get down to the nitty-gritty for this game, I really do think that the scores are going to be out tonight. I do like the over 237.5. Both these teams are teams that slide up under the radar, but they're playing really good basketball right now. Even though the Wolves have been struggling, it's okay. They're coming into this one winners of 4 in a row. You got the Pacers coming in here winners of 5 in a row. So it's tough to pick a winner here. So the spread is exactly on the money tonight. So pretty much if you say skip a spread, pick a winner. That's how I feel in the spot. But if you do take spread, it could be a good option as well too, because a lot of these games between teams that are on the same pantheon at the moment usually wind up being much closer than even the spread will say. You know what I mean? It might wind up being a 1-point win for the winner. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it checks out. All right, we move on. Let's go ahead and talk about the Hawks and the Kings tonight. And I know it seems like I'm being redundant because I'm bringing the Kings back again tonight. The Kings were apart, but there was only 4 games last night. But the Kings did so good last night. Let's bring them back tonight. The Kings 10-6, while you got a Hawks team that's 10-7. The Hawks have just been going through the motions all season. Nobody's really talking too much about them because they're doing everything that was expected of them. But when I look at this, I see the Kings have won 6 in a row, and they are 7-2 this month. I've already talked about this on plenty of nights, plenty of days where this team is 8. This team is so much better than they were to start the year off. They're 8-2. They've won pretty much 8 out of their last 10 games, and this is incredible because this team didn't have nobody was taking the Kings seriously, especially when they dropped the first 4 in a row. But then they got a good win against Miami, and then they came back around, got another good win over Charlotte, and then that buzzer beater loss kind of sparked everything against Miami. Then they come back around, they got a good win over Orlando. Then they had a bad loss to Golden State. They lost by 3, but they should have won the game. And since then, they just been a lights out. And I know that they're fortunate that 5 out of 6 of these games, 5 out of 7, and 5 out of the 6 games, well, 4 out of the 6 games that they've played. Actually, let me take that back. 5 out of the last 7 that they played on this win streak. Literally because it's 7 in a row, not 6 in a row. But the 7-game win streak, 5 of the games is at home. Okay, so they got Atlanta tonight. They got Boston. They got Boston Friday, and so those are 2 tough games for Sacramento. But they'll win one of them, and I think tonight's the game that they win. I know that Atlanta is coming in here tough though as well too. Atlanta's playing much better basketball. They're a better home team though. I don't know. I don't like the way that they play on the road, but them at home is that's some good stuff right there. They're kind of going through the motions right now. They're 3-3 over their last 6, but they're 6-4 actually for this month. So they're 3-game winning streak, and then they've been dealing with the losing bug just a little bit. You know what I mean? So they've lost their last 4 out of 7. You know what I mean? So it's fine. But they have Sacramento tonight. They got Houston on the road Friday. So that's how they finish up their week. Then they got another home game against Miami Sunday. So, they're feeling pretty good before they go on their road trip as well, too, next Monday. So, this game is another one that you can just pick. It's a toughie, but I think that we can circle a team that's just been killing it. We got to ride the hot hand. I love the Kings here with the plus 155. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. All right, let's move forward and talk about the Mavs and the Celtics. You got Celtics team coming in here 13-4. You got Mavs 9-7. With the leading scorer in the NBA, who's just feeling himself so much right now, and more power to him because he's doing the damn thing. So pretty much you have this team that's 6-4 this month as well. With Dallas, had won their first 3 in a row. Then they've won their last 3 out of 5 to be exact, but they have dropped their last 2 out of 3, losing to Houston. That's something that you like, damn, you lost to Houston, but they come back around. They're playing Boston. Boston's a tough out, but Boston seems to keep, running into games like this and not performing the way that you would expect them to perform. Now, Boston, on the other hand, finally had their win streak snapped the other day by the same team that keeps beating them, and that's Chicago, who's beaten them twice this year already. And that's two of their 4 losses on the season. So they did win 9 in a row going into that game the other night. So, they bounced back. They got Dallas. They got a 4-game homestand here, 5-game homestand in the month. So they got Dallas, Sacramento, Washington, Charlotte, and Miami. This is another really good spot. Scheduling is everything in the NBA, and I think that Boston is just it's just schedule right now for Boston that's really helping them. And 5 home games is going to be pretty good as well too, to keep fattening up this record a little bit. So I think that when it comes down to this game right here, it's going to be another really good game, but I can see defense happening in this game as well, too. The Mavs play really good defense, but the Mavs don't score as much as you want them to because Luka scores a lot of their points. So we're going to see how this one shapes up and shakes out, but 9-7 versus 13-4, one of the better games in the NBA tonight, and I look forward to it. I can't wait. I think that this one will be one that a lot of us will be enjoying, and it's going to be on ESPN as well, too. So, hey, why not? All right, so let's move on to our final game that I'm highlighting, and that's going to be a good old fun rivalry game between the Clippers and the Warriors. And the Warriors coming into this game 8-10, fresh off of being blown out by 45 points by the Pelicans. So tonight they come into this one as a 10-point favorite. Wow, you get blown out by 45 and they make you a 10-point favorite, only in the NBA, right? All right, so you have a Clippers team coming in here, winners of their last 4 out of 5, including 3 in a row. But, they ain't really beat much. They beat Detroit, San Antonio, and Utah. So I'm not going to take that away from them, but they've had a lot of games against Houston recently. That's all I can say as well, too. So, they're having they're having a really good month. To be honest with you, they've only lost 3 times, so 8-3 is really good. So, they're moving forward. They're playing good basketball at the moment. And I think that the Clippers are confident enough to where they can sit guys out like Paul George and Kawhi sitting out tonight. And I know that's the biggest reason why they're playing it up like this. And that's the biggest reason why the spread is going crazy, because the Warriors just came off of a game where they just got literally just body slammed, embarrassed. And, their last few losses have been by double digits as well, too. And, that's something that you start to look at and be like, man, you guys got to do better. So you look at it, and I know a lot of people be like, but Pop, they won their last 3 out of 5. But they started the month off on a 3-game losing streak and then came back around, and they just don't look good to me at the end of the day. And I don't think it's going to be a quick fix for this team. I think that they're going to have to go through the motions real quick that teams have to go through when they're at the end of their dynasty. And yes, I said it, they're at the end of their dynasty. So if they win a championship this year, great, but I don't expect it. I'm just going to be dead honest with you. And y'all can chatter all you want to about it, but I don't see that happening. So pretty much that's our games for tonight. We got some good games in this group as well, too. So you guys be ready for the Talkin Tickets, which is going to be coming up in a moment. So you guys just stay tuned, and I'll be right back to you. This is the PrimeTime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we're back with the PrimeTime Angles live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. So let's jump into Talkin Tickets, and let's start off first with the CBB today, and we got the CBB PK6. I like Marquette with the -7. Also like Mary Mac with the +19.5. Also like Brown today as our CBB dog of the day, +140. Then we got K-State with the -120. Today, K-State's been killing it as well too. They're going to win that tournament that they're in as well. +6 with Utah tonight as well, and then we got the -16 with UCLA tonight against Pepperdine in their yearly battle that they have over at. It's funny too because they always play this game at Pauley. I'm like, when y'all go play the game at Pepperdine one of these years over in Malibu? So that's where we have it, 57-1 on the PrimeTime PK6 for college basketball tonight. And with the NBA Super High 5, we're going to take the Cavs with the -7. I'm just going to take this because I think that the Blazers just want to get home. That's what the analogy I'm using tonight. And then I like the over 237 with the Pacers and the Wolves tonight as well. And then also Kings +155. That is our NBA dog of the day. And then we have the under 218.5 with the Mavs and the Celtics. And then we end with the plus 10.5 on the Clippers in their game tonight. That's going to be a 34-1 ticket right there that you guys see. So we got 57-1, 34-1. And so pretty much I'm just trying to put you guys in the right headspace so we can make some good money going into the weekend. You know what I mean? So pretty much you guys already know what time it is. You guys always know that I'm here. If you need me for some bet advice, you guys can hit me up on the Twitter at PopDiBiase, or you guys can hit me on the IG at DiBiaseWave_. So pretty much that's a show for you guys today. I'm glad that you guys watched and joined. Even if you didn't watch me live, you know you guys can watch the replay all day, every day on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and on my Instagram as well too. So you guys don't act like you don't see what I'll be putting out. All right. So you guys are the best. I'll be back at it Friday, but we'll be doing Talkin Tickets, the Thanksgiving show, tomorrow on IG Live about 8:15, 8:30. It's going to be early though, but you guys just be ready for that. And I look forward to that as well too. So you guys just be good. Just be good. Don't be mad at your relative. You ain't seen them in years. It don't matter. Don't be fighting, okay? Don't be fighting with your family now, all right? You know, just be easy. It's just one day out the year. You know what I mean? Y'all got to stop being so petty. All right, but I'm talking about other things. This is a sports show. So it is what it is. Much love to y'all. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody as well, too. I'll be back Friday for Black Friday, and we'll be starting at about noon Friday. So be ready for that. And once again, this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Kappa. And I'll be back Friday. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. Love you, Pops, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.